All right, test 1 2 1 2. Can everybody hear me right now? I think I am good. I could already tell. There we go. I appreciate your patience, all of us collectively inside our live trading room, as well as on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. But finally, now you folks can hear me. Michael, Sid, Brian, Ronnie, David, 5x5 from him. Perfect. Whew, small little glitch there. I'm not going to explain what happened. It's a bonehead mistake from my end, but didn't waste much time at least. So let's hop right to it. Markets are breaking down towards the lows right now. So, like I said, great to see all of our students. Great to have all of us back on social right now. So, hey, AI, easily enough, we're going to put on our watch list actually. Well, at least for those that could short it, because this stock has been trending down all throughout the day. I just got nipped on a false breakout right now, folks, where I just told you inside the chat board, hey, 2588, a very big level, very strong level to watch. Well, I wasn't wrong. Wasn't wrong. But of course, I was wrong with looking for the pop and the move off support, from that point potentially. So I ended up jumping in once it re-broke above the level. Well, just like I do teach you folks, unfortunately, it didn't work out my way. But if it's such a big level, we should be getting a pretty big move momentarily, right? So I was very privy to that. I ended up getting out. It was like an 18-cent loss on a small share size. Don't think the 18 is like big or whatnot, especially compared to the morning session. The stock was dropping off so much, from the open. You can't be doing this on like 1,000 shares or 500 shares even. So with a smaller size, you could allow a tinier cushion, but you should still know it's like, hey, it should make a pretty decisive reaction off that price momentarily. So definitely not in this trade now as a long, and at this stage now re-breaking towards 25 and under. So yeah, seemingly we'll put this back on our list though, more as a short than anything. If it shows higher lows across like 315, 330 in the afternoon at that time, maybe then you get a bounce. But otherwise, follow the direction here first. If you can't short AI, then don't let this be noise to you. If you can't short it, don't let this be a distraction. There's probably plenty of other shorts that are following the market here heading into the close. But also on the same side of that, I always like to point this out at least. Days like today are really my favorite types of days. They really are. The market's tanking. And as a new student here, you may think, well, hell, I can't trade anything then, especially if I can't short or don't know how to short. Why would I try and buy in a down market? Well, it's because not every stock moves with the S&P, let alone the markets as a whole. There could be stocks like the SECO that were making moves on their own accord, off their own news or off their own momentum. So obviously this ended up popping right out the gate after the market opened up this morning. This SECO, it's still top percent gainer right now, actually. So with that in mind, technically there's still a chance since it didn't completely tank and wash out the other way. There's a chance for this to actually continue. Now, with that, though, how much of a chance? Let's get this to start going really soon because high of the day is roughly off 188, 190. So it's still pretty far away from that, although it is making higher lows, showing good trends still, right? I'll come back to this at the end here, at least as far as putting this back on the main list for the afternoon. Nice trade from the morning, though. We'll see what it's doing in a moment. But hey, it wasn't just SECO. I can really just keep going down the list for right now from CLDX number 2, which it's still seemingly chugging on up here at the high still. So yeah, I'm more likely to put this on our list at this point here, the CLDX as a long, alongside the AI as a potential short. It does still seem to be right at that historical level, though. I had plotted this a little earlier. I think I was on a coaching call at the time. This was not Traders Talk material. This is actually exclusive on a coaching call with one of our students. But more or less, you could see what I'm looking at there, roughly around 618, roughly around 620-ish. And it's still, well, hey, roughly around those prices right now. So should it snap under this historical level here, then that could be the end of the run. You'd really want to see this hold as support coming up right now. Maybe a dip under and then back over, but otherwise, it is kind of at a do or die here, I feel. I'm going to put this on our list, but I'll come back to this at the end. If it ends up flopping like 60, 70 cents on the way down, then obviously there will be better opportunities from that point, I'd imagine. So NFTG, another one from earlier today. We did talk about this extensively in our Traders Talk workshop. Again, for any of us on social media, we do that normally inside our live trading room every Tuesday morning. Just go right down to the link on the bottom there in green just to get yourself set up on a day free access pass with us there. We conducted that earlier this morning. So for any of our students like Brian or Grant or Glenn or Ronnie or David, of course, you folks were tuning in live there, and we'd covered this move off 150, 152 as iceberg support. Thankfully, it ended up bottoming out exactly at that point, led to a phenomenal entry and a really nice run up to boot. So, yeah, 50, 60 cent plus gain on that trade, I should say. And it's still kind of showing strength, still holding over two for right now. The issue on this stock compared to the others, and especially compared to like CLDX or whatnot, the order book is definitely skimpy throughout the day. It looks kind of liquid, but for a $2 stock to have a 4-cent spread, I don't know. That something about that is a little fishy. So, that's not normally the type of liquidity we often look to trade, but I'll put this with the SECO. I'll put it on our side list here. NFTG. It is a crypto related stock, NFT company, so to say. I know Fausto brought this up earlier during the audio commentary we do, but there's some big expo or conference in the city, I think, in a week and a half with NFTs and all that. Even if that's not up your alley, if that's not what you are interested in as a person, well, you're interested in making money. So this ended up making a really nice trade for us to make some good money on. So we'll come back to this at least. We'll see if this is still showing strength by the end of this call. This one we're done with, but had a really nice push in the pre-market, breaking all-time highs early in the morning, this stock. And then from there ended up just kind of diving off afterwards, right around that 10:30-ish, 11 o'clock time frame. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is not trading room specific. Actually, this is on social media. I'm seeing on my streams here, getting a little wackiness with my cursor here every now and then. So try and disregard that cursor kind of blinking there. Good to go inside the live trading room though. AUST, we're going to step away from this one. Definitely wacky stock with the liquidity. CLSD, nice push from earlier this afternoon, not even from the morning, like right around 12 o'clock, it started to pop, but looks really lackluster right now, not really trading good volume per minute. Probably not going to find a whole lot on the gainers side this afternoon, folks, right? Even with the markets, or with the markets pulling back right now. Granted, we did well in a bunch of trades from the morning, and hey, we got a couple on there already, but probably going to find more on the loser side, I'd imagine. Cup, not much happening there. BLPH, former runner, familiar name from the past, but yeah, this one too, up and down. VHC from earlier. You know what? Actually, one of our students had a good call out on this on one of my coaching calls throughout the day. I mean, it was just worth looking at the time. It wasn't moving well, but I said, all right, you know what? Maybe. SPRO, it was actually from Friday last week on a gap up, so it doesn't look great. It's still flat at 154, but just wanted to check in with it at least. But yeah, not for this afternoon. Maybe if this gets more momentum going into the close or tomorrow, we'll see. Let's see if there's anything else looking good from the gainer side, though. Otherwise, fat here. I mean it. PHAT, fat. Ended up having a pop up early in pre market, then dumped off. It'll pop up, and then afterwards just kind of went nowhere from that point. So we didn't really focus on this since pre market, even just looked at it early in the pre market hours, but that was all. All right, so let's see if there's anything looking just as good on the loser side right now. I got a bunch that's down like huge, like 65% here or so, 60%, few of these trades. So NOGN, what goes up comes back down, but sheesh, this thing just kept breaking new lows. Yeah, all-time lows. That's crazy. So this stock from yesterday actually on Monday ended up having a big run up, back down, all within the course of the first like couple hours this was, and then dumped off. So we're not expecting it to continue to like break new lows per se. We just say what makes the percent gainers list one day does tend to make the percent losers the next. So maybe it would be at like $5 or $3. Man, this thing is breaking new all-time lows already. So goes to show these are day trades, not swing trades that we're recommending or calling out at the least here. Certainly not those. Cal, this one actually had a crazy bounce back up. Fausto caught this one pretty early on when it reopened up from a halt. Thing was down like 70% at one point, and it actually kept getting halted over and over at first. But then over time, it actually broke back above resistance off of 230, led to a really good squeeze at the time, up to 3. But much like with any short squeeze, once the volume peaks and then dies off, like you could see here, typically the stock also peaks and dies off from that point. So let's see if there's anything else looking good as a short. Again, AI is on our list as a short, but it's actually hard to borrow from my end on TradeStation. So I'm going to need to follow another stock myself. But for those that could short AI, still looking pretty good. PYXS dropped off early from the morning, but not much happening on it now. Shortable on TradeStation for right now, at least. Space, this is getting, well, it was getting close to the all-time lows once again, back from earlier this year. Fausto's looking at this as a potential swing trade, though, should it hold support, should it? Technically, right now, you happen to have a higher low. So I'm not going to put it on the main list just for this afternoon. I don't think it's down enough percentage-wise for the dead cat bounce. But maybe over time, as a swing trade opportunity throughout this week, should this continue to hold support, then it's definitely worth watching. I think he's onto something with this then. STEM as a short, down over 11%. It is easy to borrow on my platform, at least, trading over 10 million shares total on the day, right at the lows. It's hard for us to not put this on our main list. Another like crazy stock back from last week had a gap down. It dropped off. What happened here? What happened here on March 29th? That's what I want to know. Let me take a quick look here. If I could, I'm just going to go back a number of days, just to check. I don't remember that one exactly. So what happened here on the 29th? This was dropping off early in pre-market. It opened up. It got smashed, dropped below 5. It hit a low here at the time of like 467, and then spiked right back on up and, well, closed positive technically. I really don't recall that one as much, the stem trade. Interesting. But, obviously over time has been pretty wacky since, and including today, a big gap down and, hey, at the lows. So as a short, just to get to the chase here, get to the point, I'm going to put this on our list as a potential short should this look to break lower, perhaps off this 13,000 share iceberg. All right, so folks, let me know if there's anything else looking good, presumably on the way down first. But if there's any like pops right now that we're missing, let me know on that side as well. Michael with SOUN. If you could short it, that's something with the AI trade. The AI though, just in terms of like the AI stocks, and that's the only one I'll throw on there at least. The Seco trade hasn't tanked. You know what? I'll put this on our main list. It hasn't dove off yet, hasn't broken lower, so still showing strength going into this afternoon. I don't mind putting this back on our list. It's looking better than the NFTG. This one's not looking as good. Honestly, I'm going to skip this one for right now. I'm not a fan of the liquidity. If it holds over 2 and breaks over 213 in particular, there's a chance, but right now, I'll stick with what we got so far. Sydney's saying here at least BFRG working its way down. All right. Nah, this one's not. It's just you've been looking for that down move then for a couple hours, Sydney, if that's the case. So, if you could short it and it holds, that's one thing, but just bad volume out here. It's flat. And that's okay. It's good to go over this, right? The more we go over these things, it'll be easier for you to just realize like quickly in the moment yourself. And, as I turn to Benzinga Pro, stock NIR is up nearly 30%. Hey, look at this. But also look at the liquidity. It's like, it doesn't really check out too great here. I'm definitely more of a fan of the other stocks so far on our list. Looks like a lot more volume is trading on this stock from earlier today. Even for right now, I'm going to pass on this one. Maybe Rich will call this out as it gets closer to 3:30 in the afternoon. All right. I definitely think we're at the bottom of the barrel here, folks, when we're looking at stocks like FWBI, right? When we're looking at stocks like this, and this is when the meeting's over. So, you know what? I think that we're pretty much all set. I'm going to look on the loser side here, actually, which I did not do. Let me quickly do that, might I say. Bloom Energy, BE. That's down near 6% at the lows. Looks like it filled a gap already on the daily side of things. It's tradable for sure. Mike, I know that you're a fan of Array. It's down 3%. Not looking that great. The BE, though, doesn't look too bad. Let's see if there's anything else otherwise here just that I'm missing. Looking from Benzinga Pro right now. Got AEA towards the lows, but like kind of a skimpy order book. Not a great need to put that on our list. And hey, we got Neo. Not that Neo. And EO, not NIO, but an EO Neo dropping off really well, actually. Yeah, I'll put this on our main list. Looks like the liquidity might be a tiny thin, but spread pretty tight for the meantime. Looks like this also has a bit of a gap to fill. 1508, the low back from end of February here. All right. Well, aside from that, 15 would be your next major support likely on the bid. But as far as direction, I'll give this a look. All right, folks. So in total, hey, not a big list, and that's just fine by me. I always say, like, the difference between myself and Fausto, as long as I've been doing this, not doing as long as Fausto. Fausto at this point keeps it extremely simple, or he's extremely good at keeping it simple. Where sometimes you'll tend to see myself pump out a larger list because I'll tend to see the opportunity in a couple of these trades here and there at times. But hey, that's where Fausto would probably not even have AI on the main list here at this point because it's probably hard to borrow for him. It's hard to borrow for me. Probably hard to borrow for most, but if you can get the shares to short, that would be one of your best trades to work with at least. And again, there could be a couple of others out there that are on the list so far, like Neo, Seco, STEM, or the CDLX. All right, so folks, we're going to call it right now. Hey, I appreciate all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works, especially with the little glitch in audio from the beginning. If there's any questions that you folks have, feel free to shoot me a quick email. Josh@ctutrading.com is the handle. If you're interested in joining our live trading room, you can sign up by going right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself set up. But for students like Grant and Leda and Sydney and Ronnie and Warren and Brian and Scott, I look forward to catching up with you folks in the chat board coming up here in a bit. Rich will be on the mic taking you into the close from 3 to 4 p.m. Take care.